All right, we're gonna jump right into it, man. We ain't got too much time today, so we're gonna jump right into it, right? It's ISUPK, 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Officer Apayat, out here in Arizona. I'm saying, hold on class today. Scripture breakdown class. Saying, you know the title. You see the title. I'm saying we're gonna talk about the devil today, right? All right, knowing the devil. All right, we're gonna talk about the devil today. So the devil, right? When you hear the word devil, you know in the ISUPK, we teach that the word devil means deceiver, right? Word devil is not a man with a pitchfork and a horn under the ground, right? We teach that the actual devil, according to the Bible, is a deceiver. The word devil means deceiver, right? We go in the Bible and we tell you who the devil is by breaking down scriptures for you, right? Breaking down scripture who the devil is. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to go into the Bible. I'm going to show you your number one enemy. All right, I'm going to show you your number one enemy. Then I'm going to go into how we fear them, right? How fear is the reason why we're in the condition that we're in today. So I'm going to show you your enemy, and I'm going to show you, in fact, I'm going to show you fear first, right? And then I'm going to show you the correlation between the two. How us fearing is the reason why we're subjects to these people. All right. Well, first thing I want to go to is say, hold on, before I start. First thing I want to say is ISUPK. We're going to be giving out food. This is every Saturday, right? We're going to be giving out food. I think they call it the Dead Zone. It's on like Third Ave and Jefferson, I think it is. All right. What I'm gonna do is when we go live in Truth Is, we're gonna discuss it this week. So it'll be on Saturday around 3 p.m. Arizona will be giving out food. Saying if you want to come down and get some food or contact the school if you Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian, or I'm saying if you happen to be a devil or a so-called white man or another nation watching, you want some food, you can have some food too. I'm saying ISUPK, everybody eat with ISUPK, right? That's to show you that why we're civilized people. Proof that we're civilized people. But even in the midst of us living in hell and us having nothing, we still give to the people. Even our enemies, those that hate us, can still eat with us, right? Of course, not to like a cookout or a Passover or anything like that, but to give out food, absolutely, right? ISUPK give food to everybody. That including Asians, Africans, white people, any nation, right? Any so-called heathen nation. But let's jump right into it. Let's get 2 Timothy 1 and 7. All right. In fact, let me get it on 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, it said, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear. Right there. He said the Most High did not give the children of Israel a spirit of fear, but of power and of love, honor, and of a sound mind. ISUPK, the reason why we teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, is something I've been saying for years, right? That the reason why we're subjects to white people is because we fear them. Subjects to our enemies because we fear them, right? We're subject to the devil because we fear them, right? And once again, the Most High said right here, for God has not given us the spirit of fear. All right. Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, we're not supposed to be a fearful people. Right. And the reason why I keep using the word fear and us being subject to them, how you prove that you fear white people, let me give you an example. What's coming up? Halloween's coming up, right? Halloween is coming up. You're going to go out there, you're going to celebrate Halloween. You have children, and you're going to blame it on your children because you're weak. You're going to say, well, no, it's for the kids. I'm doing this for my kids. Memories to make with my kids, right? As if you couldn't make a memory the day before Halloween with your children, dress up and go out. with your children, but you have to go out on that day. Why? Because everybody's doing it, right? You've drinking the wine of her fornication, right? You have believed in all the philosophies of America, and you have become subjects to America. You have what's the word? You became a willing slave here in America. Your life is a hell, yet still you're gonna go out there and you claim to not love your enemies, right? Or the devil, but we all know, or a vast majority of you claim to love the devil, right? Vast majority of you would say, no, we love all people. That's the love of the devil. That is the mark of the beast, right? Christianity teaches that the mark of the beast is the mark on your forehead, the mark of your hands. That is incorrect. In fact, I'll say that is incorrect, yes, but they're incorrect because they have no knowledge. The hand represents the work, you doing the devil's work. And the mind, right, and the forehead represents the mind. You believe in the philosophy. Like you believe it's okay to celebrate Halloween, even though you know it's a pagan holiday. Or I'll give you one better. Let's say you don't celebrate Halloween, but you celebrate Thanksgiving, right? You do know Thanksgiving is a slaughter of the Native American Indians. Now imagine if you're a black man out there, or a woman, or Native American man out there, or a Hispanic man out there, rather, or a woman. Imagine someone celebrating the death of the Aztecs. They have a whole day where they celebrate the death of the Aztecs. How would you feel? Or they have the whole day where they celebrate the death of black people in slavery, right? The hangings that the black and brown people we got back in the day. Imagine a day that celebrates that, right? The day of hanging, like where they go out, or I'll give you an example, right? The word picnic. We all know the word picnic comes from, I'm saying, you pick a N-word, right? You pick a N-word. I'm saying just for the sake, we gotta watch our language on here. So right, so I'm gonna say the N-word. When I say the N-word, we all know what I'm talking about, right? The word picnic comes from pick a N-word, right? So imagine, which we do today, right? Black people go out there and have picnics, right? You have drinking the philosophies of your enemy. It's kind of like the saying that goes, if you can't beat them, join them. That's the reason why I teach, right? We teach in UPK that you fear white people. If you can't beat them, join them. I mean, look at your life. Your life is hell. Your mother's life was hell. Your mother's life was hell, right? And even though you know the reason why your mother's life was hell is because she was on drugs, or your great-grandmother was on drugs, or your grandfather or your father was on drugs, right? And who got on those drugs, right? Who brought drugs in America? I would think you would despise a drug dealer. See, a lot of black and Hispanics, like, we like to blame each other for everything. You see, if I was coming on here saying how bad black people was, your mother, father, they all would agree with me, saying, yes, what he's saying was wise, and they're saying that he's telling the truth. But because we're coming on here and speaking against the devil, that now they have a problem with it. Because why? It's out of fear. Subconsciously, it's out of fear. That's the reason why we celebrate these holidays. We celebrate the Thanksgiving, the Christmas coming up. Christmas was started from Nimrod, right? Nimrod, after he died, his wife / mother made a big Christmas tree and told the people they have to come and worship that tree. They have to bring their best gifts and treasure and lay at the tree, because the spirit of Nimrod is in that tree. And if you don't bring your best to that tree, Nimrod will kill you. See, Nimrod was a conqueror. Nimrod was feared throughout the nation. Nimrod was feared throughout the earth. Everyone knew who Nimrod was. Everyone feared him because he was a conqueror. So they feared him so much, when his mother or / wife said that, they all came and worshiped the tree, as she says, because they feared him so much. That's to show you the power of fear and how fear can consume you so much in 2022 today. Let the average black person tell you their enemy is not white people. Their enemy is not the devil. You know what their enemy is? Their enemy is you. The enemy is not your brother's your enemy. Your sister's not your enemy. Right? Your mother, father's your enemy. Right? Your daughter's your enemy. Your daughter is not becoming your enemy, right? Because far as you know, you hate yourself so much, and you see yourself in your daughter, and see something that you create, you hate her for it. And don't get me started for those that are either rising or those that are coming out of the darkness. Let me give you an example before we go on. Let me give you an example. We're going to go to John, right? John 14 and 27, right? John chapter 14 and 27. Let me give you an example of the cockroaches. Now, as black people, vast majority of us, we won't act brand new. We all lived in a house that had cockroaches, right? I lived in a house that had cockroaches at one time, right? And believe me, I was the hunter. I tried my best to kill. If anyone that know me, no, I tried my best to kill every last one of them. I felt like I accomplished it because I stopped seeing them after a while. I will hunt them, turn the lights off, give it about an hour and a half, 2 hours, y'all coming out, right? And the minute you hit the light on, what do cockroaches do? They all scatter, right? That's what your mother, father is, your brother, sister, your auntie. That's what all of them, that's what your family become. Once you come into the truth, now they're all gonna, you're now the light. They're all gonna scatter away from you. And they're gonna make every excuse on the face of the earth. Every excuse on the face of the earth, as if your life was any better before you started waking up. Right? As if they cared. Where were they at? If the truth was so bad, right? If UPK is so terrible, and you learned about God in the last days is so terrible, and learning the white man's the devil was so terrible, where were they at before you learned this? Since UPK was so terrible, where were they at before you hit rock bottom? Since they considered learning the truth and being the UPK to be rock bottom, where were they at before then? All of a sudden now, a spark of interest in you now. You know what I mean? We all have been through it in the UPK. All of our families. This is how you know you truly in the UPK. How you rising in the truth. If your family's not turning against you, if your brother's not turning against you, your sister's not turning against you, right? If your father's not turning against you, you ain't. It's something you don't. You're not doing something right. They're supposed to. You shouldn't be mad about it. This is supposed to happen. Like, what you feel? I mean, it's up to you now. Are you strong enough now to overcome it? You pick your choice. You gonna listen to God or you gonna listen to your family, right? Because many of them come up in Halloween, they're gonna listen to their family because what their children want, right? Now, John, what I said? Well, I said John 14 and 27, right? John chapter 14. Okay, I didn't say right here. John chapter 14, verse 27 says, "Peace I leave with you." This is Christ speaking, right? In the red letters. So he said, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be feared. Let it be afraid." Right? Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, our hearts have been afraid because of the bondage that we've been in. Let me give you an example. You see the hate that your family or your kin rather have for the truth is no different than the slavery that Black people has been through coming across the sea. Coming across that sea, you know what? They threw over 1 million slaves, right? In the ocean. It was so much bodies thrown overseas today. That's the reason why off the coast of by Florida and what is it called? The Atlantic Ocean, I think it is. The reason why so much sharks dwell there today, because the sharks also remember. They also have a history. And they remember at one time that specific area was filled with meat. The sharks remember. They have a history. They know. Right? And let me show you why that correlates today. Before I jump into my topic. So I think I told a story already once. Well, I was at my slave one time and white boys talking about Black people can't. They were joking about Black people not being able to swim and all that. They didn't know I was behind them. They turn around. You know how white people is. They get all scared. And I was quiet and I was sitting behind them the whole time in the other table behind them. But they didn't notice. And I look up and I saw they were like looking around like, "Oh man, I'm sorry," or whatever. I told them, "What do you feel? What is it to be sorry about?" Each and every one of you is ignorant. See, contrary to popular belief, they teach that Black people is incapable of swimming. That's not true. There's actually a lot of black people that can swim. Go look it up. There's a lot of black people that can swim. Vast majority, they're right. Yes. Yes. But not because we can't swim because like we're incapable of learning. That's not true. Fear the reason why we can't swim. Fear. And that fear is passed down through generations. See, once again, those women and children that came off that slave ships, they also have a history. And you ever heard the saying when a woman get pregnant, all those pregnant, imagine all the pregnant women was on the boat at that time when everybody with their husbands and fathers and sisters and brothers was being thrown overseas and they survived. That baby now carry that same fear that mother had. This is science, right? It teaches itself. This honestly teaches itself. That fear that a mother have, not a child have. And that fear has been passed down through generations. Fear is the reason why black people refuse to, you know what I'm saying, get in the water, refuse to even learn how to swim. The minute you hit that water, you automatically start drowning. Many black people will tell you, like, the minute we hit that water, it's like I'm drowning. Like I can't, like it's fear. It's fear. And that has been passed down through generation. The same way us fearing our oppressor, us fearing America, fearing the so-called white man, the devil. The reason why we keep following all of his holidays, all of his wickedness, all of his sins, and the reason why we love him so much is because of fear. Like I said before in the beginning, I'm gonna keep saying it throughout this whole class, right? I have you guys for about another 45 minutes, right? I'm on short time today. I have you for another 45 minutes. And throughout those 45 minutes, you're gonna hear me keep mentioning it over and over and over again. Fear, fear, fear. The reason why we fear white people is because for what happened to us in slavery. It's been a generation. The reason why we refuse to break these holidays, the reason why we refuse to look at them as the enemy is out of fear. Is if you can't beat them, join them. Right? Now let's get the history of them. Let's jump into the Maccabees. I think it's first Maccabees. I want to say, I got my notes here. It's all right. First, let's go with Alexander. First Maccabees 1:1. Right? Everybody know about Alexander, right? Alexander the Greek. Right? If anybody has seen that movie Alexander, played by Colin Farrell, I think it is. No. What is his name? Will Ferrell? No, Colin. I think it's Colin. Colin Farrell's his name. And Angelina Jolie. Right? First Maccabees. Oh, I can't get Maccabees. I am speaking. Yes. First Maccabees. First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. Right? Let's get a little bit of it. First Maccabees 1:1 says, "Come, Slovakia." First Maccabees 1:1. And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim and smitten Darius, king of Persia. Now we know where Persia. If anyone know the history of Persia, anyone seen 300? You remember Xerxes? Xerxes was actually a real king. He was a real conqueror, right? You could do it. In fact, I might do a class on that. I might do a class in the Persian Empire, Xerxes, right? And how that correlates to today, the black people, and how we should also have a bone to pick with those East Indians. If you know me, I have a bone to pick with. I don't let nobody, ain't no such thing as one better than the other one to me. They all devils, right? They all devils. But this is the history of Alexander, right? And if anyone know anything about the Maccabees, Maccabees is famous for, give you a little backstory. Maccabees is famous for Judas Maccabeus and Matthias. Who else? Son Jonathan Maccabees, and I forgot the other one's name. Is it Philip? I have to go back and look at his his name. Right? If you read the Maccabees, it gives you a history of the Edomites. Right? We're going to go down to, his name is, let's get Esther. The book of Esther 16 and 10. All right, I'm going to get on my phone. Just lock here. Let's make our time go a little bit faster. I'm going to get it on my phone. Book of Esther. If anyone know anything about Esther, Esther was a sister, right? She saved the nation of Israel by choosing her people. She didn't betray her people like vast majority of your celebrities do today. Damn near all of them do today, right? Esther didn't do that. Esther was a wise sister. She loved her people. She yielded unto counsel the men that raised her, and she saved her people from the king, right? The wicked king. Now, in the book of Esther, we're gonna go to let's see, can you hear me? Oh, some detectives and they can't hear me. Yo. Come up. Okay, Esther. We're gonna start at let's get 12 and 6. Oh. No, we're gonna. No, let's get 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel's 15 and 8. It's lock it. 1 Samuel's 15 and 8. Make this. Make this quick. First Samuel's chapter 15, verse 8. Like I said, I'm gonna get on my phone just to make my short time today. And he took Agag. If you know who Mog and Agag is, they're like who you consider to be the Russians and the Germans today, like the Slavics. You ever heard of the Vikings and the Slavics? The Vikings are Ragnar Lothbrok and Ivar the Boneless in them. I'm saying they come from that seed, that specific tribe of white people, right? And verse 8 says, and he took Agag, the king of the Amalek, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. See, what's coming, and this is jump right into the subject. What's coming to all, whether any black person like it, understand it or not, the Bible says, although hand joining the hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. You're gonna look that up. God said, although hand joining hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. So as much of you coons that may love the so-called white man, may love Africans, Asians, Arabs, as much as you love them, like the wicked shall not be unpunished. Each and every one of these nations is absolutely wicked. Yes, even the Africans. There's even a movie coming out. It's called The Woman King, or it's been out already. I don't know. It's called The Woman King. In The Woman King, here's what they don't tell you. That is, in fact, a lot of that history is, in fact, true. The slaves that they had was you. Black people over here was the slaves that they had, right? Black people was the slave that they had. You, your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, they had us in slavery. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the movie theaters. You're going to watch that movie. You're going to love it. You're going to say it's one of the best movies. Just like that movie, right? Black Panther, or that, right? That Black Panther that we also love so much. Even though that's telling us also a history of how much Africans despise us. Don't forget, Killmonger went back home, right? He's supposed to be their brothers, right? He went back home. He was rejected by them. But they would accept the white man. You see how cordial they were and laughing and joking with the white man and playing with him? Killmonger wanted to use that weapon they had to free black people. Right? He said the Africans have been eating fat. If you go over there in Africa today, you realize how fat they actually been living. Africans are not as poor as you may think. Africans are very wealthy. Go look up the type into Google the Africa they don't show you. Pull up the images, and Africa is beautiful. Africa is absolutely gorgeous, man. They're living fat over there, really good. That's the reason why they walk with their nose in the air at us, because they're actually living good over there, right? They're living good. Africans are our enemies, and they got that riches off the back of us. Africa became the number one export of what? Slavery during that, slaves during that time. How much money they made off us? They still sitting on slave money today. No different than the queen that died of England. The same thing. They all living off money off us, right? So Agag, the king of Amalek, right? He was killed. He was being put to death. That's what's coming for all Edomites, man. That's what's coming for all Edomites. Second Ezra 6 and 9. That one I might get out of this book. You know what? Get it right now. Second Ezra 6 and 9. Second Ezra 6 and 9 said, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed." Esau is the end of the world. Who's Esau? Esau goes back to the Genesis, the 15th chapter. I think it is Genesis 15 and about 21. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, let me hold up. In fact, let me get it out of here. Right, Genesis, the 15th chapter. I think you find the root when Esau came about. Genesis, chapter 15, verse. Let's see. No, Genesis 23. I think it is. I knew it was something off about that. Genesis 23. Let's see. No, it's 15. It has to be 15. Peace, I shall burn. This is. Genesis 25, right? Genesis 25 chapter, 25th chapter, and verse 25. "And it first came out red all over, like a hairy garment, and they shall call his name Esau." Right? You know, everyone knows the story of Esau and Jacob, right? Esau came out first. It was red all over like a hairy garment. Right? That's the origin of Esau, right? So-called white man. Now on Second Ezra. So we're gonna get that one out of here. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth," right? Meaning this kingdom we're living in, it's us being under the so-called white man, that's the end of the world. He would never rise again. This is the last king. This kingdom we're living in right now, World War III would be the war of all wars. The wars of all wars. Right? You find that in the movie or the show, the Game of Thrones. To me, the greatest show of all time. Top two, right? Top two, easily. If you don't have it number one, if you don't have it number two, something's wrong with you. Game of Thrones is a history book, truly a history book, right? If you know how to dissect it. Of course, it has a little BS here and there, you know what I mean, to make the white man look more than what he is, obviously. But if you know the history, you know that Game of Thrones is a history book, right? And it shows that White Walkers is like Christ making the second coming, and how all the other nations, the Lannisters, the Starks, the Bolton, all these different nations fighting against one another, but they come together to fight against who? Come together to fight against the White Walkers, right? Can't pronounce that word right. The White Walkers. It was wrong. Right? The White Walkers, they come together to fight against. And that's no different in the Revelation to speak about what? The other nations coming together to fight against Christ when he makes his second coming. That is a fact. Game of Thrones is don't think the white man is so great. That show, like, ain't nothing great about him. He's always taking somebody else's story. He's taking the story of Israelites. It's our Bible, right? The Bible belongs to us. That's our story that he's telling. And he's taking that and making money off of it, like everything else that they do. Right? Let's get Romans 9 and 13. Like I said, I'm gonna get it on my phone for time's sake. Romans chapter 9, verse 13. And it says, Romans 9, 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Right? This is, once again, this is the devil right here, the Most High speaking on. Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, where's it written? It's written in the Old Testament. Right? That's why he said, as it is written, because it's written in the Old Testament. When in Genesis 25th chapter, like I said, verse 25, when Esau came, even before he came about, the Most High said what type of man he would be. All right? You know, Esau gave away his birthright. It says, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Verse 14 says, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Now, verse 16 says, so then it is not of me that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth more mercy. It ain't up to me and you. It's up to the Most High. So once again, you can love him. You can lay down with him, have children with him. You want to be best friends with him. It does not change the fact of what's coming to them. Most High said he hates Esau. All right? He hates the devil. And the reason why he hates the devil is because for what happened with you. The Most High loves you so much, he's willing to hate the devil for that. In fact, I keep bringing it up, man. Let's go to Genesis, the 25th chapter. That's a good precept for this too, like, all right, since I brought up the origin of Esau. Genesis, the 25th chapter. Genesis 25 and 20, 25 and 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee. Now, let's get some backstory on that. So, what we're reading on once again is Esau, before he was born, the Most High said he shall serve his younger brother, Jacob. That's not how the history of succession is worked. How the history of succession is work is the older brother is being served by the younger brother. So the younger brother is supposed to serve the older brother, right? But the Most High is saying in this scenario, it would not be that way. The older shall serve the younger. He switched it around. And he said this to the mother, right? He came to the mother, let the mother know this, even before Esau was born. So verse 30 said, and Esau came to Jacob, feed me. So Esau was a hunter. So he was out hunting. It was a hot day. He was out hunting like vast majority of these Edomites like to do, right? The Bible said Esau was a cunning hunter. He likes to hunt and go out and kill things, right? And he came back from one of those days and he was famished. He was hungry, tired, right? And his brother was cooking. And he said, this is what I'm picking up from. It says, Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same bread pottage, for I am fainted. Therefore was his name called Esau. Prove that right there. How do white people like their meat? They like their meat bloody, right? You would go on the internet and find from their kids, the little white girls, their father teach them to go out in the desert. They kill a innocent animal that's not paying attention or whatever it may be. They kill that animal. They cut the heart out. The dad will cut the heart out and give the little white girl that heart, and she'll bite into it. That's their custom. This has been Esau from the beginning. This is their you know as well as me. Like that's how they eat their meat. See any white people eat their steak? You see all that red thing that they dipping their steak in? That's not a sauce. That's blood. That's blood. They dipping it in and they're eating it. That's the reason why the Most High said for us not to be like them. We are to cook our food well done. Like there's no such thing as blood coming out your meat. That's not Israelite custom. We do not do that. All right. And verse 31 said, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. So he asked for food. Jacob was like, that's fine. Sell me your birthright. Verse 32. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? This was he didn't want his birthright. Right? Esau despised his birthright, which I think the Bible says in the next verse. Verse 33. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him and sold his birthright unto Jacob. Verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Esau despised his birthright. Once again, I'm reading the history, giving you a little background of the devil, right? Your enemy, and how us blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians fear is the reason why we love our enemy so much. Once again, I told you the whole class I'm going to be saying this. Remember, you know the saying, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans have done. You can't beat them. You figure you can't beat them, so you might as well join them, right? You hear like I never forget, man. One of the most disappointing time I'll never forget. As people say, when I was out in the streets running around, one of the most realest cats I know. You know what he said to me when I started coming into the truth and you hear about this? He said, man, you better get away from me with that, man. Man, don't be telling me that stuff, man. You better not be talking. That's why I can't wait to not have your phone number in your number in my phone. They're gonna get you, man. They're gonna get you talking like that. I lie to you not. That's what he said to me. Out of fear. Fear is the reason why we serve these people. You know how cowardly that is? That is absolutely cowardly, man. That's why the Most High said what I just read for you earlier. The Most High said he did not paraphrase him. We weren't created with fear. We weren't created to fear things, man. We're the children of the prince of the power, right? We're gods unto the earth. We're gods unto these other nations. Israelites are gods. Yes, I said it. We're gods to these other nations. We're above them. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's always meant to be. But because we fear them, because of the bondage that we've been in, that's the reason why we subjugated ourselves to all these things. Because let me ask you this. You cannot tell me not one reason to love white people. You can't tell me. Other than the fact that I should love them, you can't tell me. What if I tell you I can right now give you 10 reasons why I should not like white people? And you bring that same person that's tell you that they love white people, have them come in and give them 10 reasons why they love white people. I'd be lucky they even give you 5. Ask them, why do you love white people? Here's what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, because what do you mean? They're human beings. God love everybody. You tell them, well, if that's the case, if God love everybody and we're all human beings, and how come you couldn't forgive your cousin, or couldn't forgive grandma, or couldn't forgive this, or the person that did this to you? How come you couldn't forgive them? You should be able to forgive them the same way forgive them, because a white man done more to you, to our nation. He's inherited wealth. The reason why white people are in the condition that they're in today, because the Native Americans had to die, the Hispanics had to die, the Latinos and them had to die, Black people had to die. So if that's the case, then no matter what somebody else have done to you, because the white man have raped you, he have molested everything under the earth. He's stolen from you every single thing he have done unto us. But yet still you can find it in your heart, right? As you say, to love them, to forgive them. If that's the case, then why can't you forgive your father for leaving you? Or your mother for mistreating you or whatever she did? Or your daughter for the wrong that she did? Why can't you forgive even your cousin? You and your cousin still beef for today. Today, you and your cousin is beefing, not talking to each other. You and your grandma is beefing, not talking to each other. Who are you? Fear is the reason why we, once again, cleave onto them. Not out of love, fear. You don't love them. For the same reason why you did not know that subconsciously, Black people have a fear of water that leads back to slavery. It's the same reason you don't know why. The reason why you so-called love white people so much is because of fear. Both of them are one and the same. Fear, the reason why we're afraid to get in that water and swim or learn to swim. And fear is the reason why you say you love white people, but you really don't. You really don't love white people. You don't. Let me tell you why I know you don't love white people. Tomorrow, let a cop kill a Black man. They did George Floyd. All of you was in uproar about it. You made it a race thing then, right? But the minute all that energy, that spirit simmer down, you go back to your fear. What it mean? What I'm trying to say to you is, when George Floyd died, anger consumed you, and the fear didn't matter. But the minute that spirit was simmered down and gone now, you love all white people now the same. That's the reason why when you get around them, you fix your lips the way you talk. You don't talk the way you talk about niggas to white people because you want to appease them. Fear, the reason why you do that. It's fear, right? So Jacob, Esau despised his birthright. When it comes time for him to get his birthright from his father, give you a quick little history on it. Jacob received the blessing instead of him because Jacob pretended to be him, right? His father was blind. His father went to go give the birthright away. He gave it to Jacob because he perceived that it was Esau. You know the story. Esau was so hairy. Jacob had to go out there and get wool's cloth just to have enough hair. You know how much hair Esau must have had for him to go out and get an animal skin just to put on his hand to fool his father, his blind father, counseled by his mother to do that. Because why? The mother remembered when the Most High, right, told her that, no, Jacob shall inherit the kingdom. Jacob didn't steal anything. He just fulfilled destiny. That's it. Right? Jacob just fulfilled destiny. That's all he did. He just fulfilled destiny. Now we're going to jump down to Hebrews 12 and 16. Right? Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Hebrews 12 and 16. 12, 16. And it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, for one muzzle of meat sold his birthright. All right, this is the Most High telling you right here in Hebrews 12 and 16. What we just read, him selling his birthright, Hebrews 12 and 16 validates that. It says, let be no this man, right? As profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. You know how low you have to be? You know how low, absolutely low you have to be? Let me show you how low the so-called white man is. He's so low that everyone knows the history of Andrew Jackson, right? After he sacked a whole nation of people in the Native American Indians, the whole tribe, right? He was marching them on that long journey. And the women that was pregnant with children, the babies would cry as babies do. Babies cry, right? Get over it. I know it drives you crazy, but babies cry. You know what he did? He ripped those babies from those mothers and cracked their head open. Grabbed the babies by their leg, slammed the baby down over the rock, bust their head open. Go look at the history. In front of the mother and father. You know the pain those people have to go through? You know how low you have to be? You know how absolutely low you have to be? And to show them how evil white people is, right? How evil our oppressor is. When they did that, if anyone heard the story of Nat Turner, when they said Nat Turner's rebellion, when he was going around killing slave masters, he would also come across the little infant children that they had in those caves, those little kettle, right? Or carriage, little baby carriage, whatever you call it, right? And he would come up on a little baby sleeping in there, and he would kill those babies. And they asked him when they were killing, why he kill those babies? He said, because those babies are gonna grow up and they're gonna kill more of our people. All right, me paraphrasing, like that's what he said, all right? Meaning he was taking them out because he was afraid that those babies would grow up one day and oppress black people. And he was absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Just as much as you coons would sit there right now and you said yes, he was a coward because he went there and killed babies. You understand fear then when it relates to you, right? That's the problem with so-called white people, right? And these other nations, they only know their sufferation. Only their pain matters. When they were telling the story of Nat Turner, you go look at some on YouTube. You have white people. The white man was today. He said he was almost in tears. He said how angry he was. He did not have to kill those little infant children. You do not kill children. Are you kidding me? Who do you think taught Nat Turner how to kill children? You did. Well, instead of him empathizing, you know what? I understand why he did it. They don't understand that. That's what we call them. The devil, the Bible speaks of, right? They're the deceiver. That's who they are by nature. Their nature is that. Their nature is to be a devil. You hear me? Like, that's their nature. Their nature is to be the devil. And you only can let a devil be what he is. All right? You have to let him be what he is. Now we're going to jump down to, that was Hebrew we're in. We'll jump down to, let's go to Obadiah. Obadiah 1. If anyone know, I love the book of Obadiah, man. Obadiah is so raw and so vivid, man. I like that, right? Obadiah said, Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord, concerning Edom, right? Concerning the devil, your enemy. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. So Obadiah is saying, letting them know right off the bat, listen, you got enemies rising. They coming, and we got to get them now. All right? Verse 2 says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Everybody despised Edomites. Everybody. Believe me when I tell you. Even the Asians despise Edomites. Arabs despise Edomites. Africans despise Edomites. There's aliens out in space. They would despise Edomites. They said, in fact, there's Edomites that wanted to go move out of space and go live in another planet. Believe me, if there's aliens living on another planet, if they do not take out those Edomites, given enough time, they will also become slaves to those Edomites because that's his nature. He's the devil. All right. It says, verse 3 says, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliff of the rocks. Who dwell in the cliff of the rocks? Right? Edomites, so-called white man. He dwell in the cliff of the rocks. So much so today they're called Caucasians. If you know the word Caucasian comes from the Caucasus Mountain of South Georgia, Russia. Right? They cavemen, like a beast, cave beast, right? And it says, whose habitation is high. You know, one thing about Edomites, white people, they love sky risers, right? High buildings, the Twin Towers. Look at New York City. Look how high those buildings are, right? Chicago, look how high those buildings are. Philadelphia. Let's go on and on. Look how Sky Tower, like high up those buildings are. Esau loved that. It makes him feel at home. You know what else was also high? In the Caucasus Mountain, right? Those caves are also high. So he's used to being that high and looking, you know what I mean? Like the Bible teaches itself. Habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right? Thou that exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars. The reason why it says that he exalted himself as the eagle is because, you know, white people were just read about Alexander the Great earlier. Right? Alexander the Great statue was what? That of the eagle. Right? That of the eagle. Alexander the Great's statue was that of the eagle. That's always been the white man's statue. That of the eagle. Who's also carried the eagle? America carried the eagle. Right? Alexander was a great power at that time. America is not a great power at this time, and the leading power at this time for Edomites. And they carried the emblem of the eagle. Right? And it says, though I set thy nest among the stars. We just brought up outer space. And the minute it said his nest amongst the stars, you have white people once again wanting to move to all these other planets, right? They want to go out of space among the stars and go live on these other planets. They're setting their nests. Set your nest like you marking a territory, right? Or I give you one better. During the 60s, when they were doing they're going out of space, right? And it says When they're going out of space, they said what? What was the first thing the white man said when he touched down out of space? Right? What was the first thing white people said when they touched down out of space? They said, he said, and I quote, "The eagle has landed." That is what he said, right? The eagle has landed. Once again, the eagle has landed. They have always known who they are. It's us, the nation of Israel. We don't know who they are. They know who their enemy is. We don't know who our enemy is. Fear consumes us so much that we do not want to know nor care to know who our enemy is. That's the reason why your family will reject you, because you're telling them who their enemy is. Right? He said the eagle has landed. Mayday, mayday, mayday. The eagle has landed. Says then right then, said the next among then I bring down the Lord. Yeah, back up right now. So it says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape herders came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? God is saying, if a thief come to your house late at night, he might take, I don't know, your money, your jewelry, your TV, you know, some of them might even take your food. Right now, food is so expensive and everything is expensive today, right? So people are hungry. So they might come and take your food. But surely he's going to leave you back something. He's not going to take everything from you. God is saying that this man, he's not like that. He said he used the example of a grape herder, right? A man that gathers grapes as his job. He said if he comes and steal your grapes from you, he's not going to take all your grapes. He's going to leave you a little bit. He said not Esau, right? Not the so-called white man. No, he comes, he takes everything from you. He takes your country. He takes your name, right? He takes your identity. He called himself you on a land that you once dwell at. Then put you on the reservations, put you in the barrios, put you in the ghettos, in the slums, and then say, look at these people. They don't want to do good for themselves. Right? This is the it's what we call him once again, the devil. All right, this is his nature. Right? This is his nature. This is who they are. We're gonna get Jeremiah 16 and 14. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14. I got one more after this, and then we're gonna close it out. Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 14. Lock you. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and all the lands whither had driven them, whether he have driven them. Here's what people must understand. These, I'm not gonna lie, Jeremiah 16 and 14 is so heavy to me. I remember the first time I heard Jeremiah 16 and 14 through 15, right? It says, no longer, it said the time is gonna come where we're not gonna remember for Egypt anymore. Right? Don't forget at one time, what happened with Moses and the Egyptians at that time, everyone throughout the earth know about it. The Asians know about it. Africans know about it, obviously. So-called white men know about it. The East Indians, like the Arabs, them know about it. The people of the Japhetic Islands of the Madagascar and Australia, the original people of them, of Hawaii and all them knew about it. Everyone on the face of the earth knew about it at one time, because that's how it was so bad. The Egyptians have not rised again since they've been destroyed. Think about it. The Egyptians that we see today in Egypt, those are not the real Egyptians. Those are descendants of Mark Antony and Cleopatra. When white people started taking over Egypt at that time, those are not the real Egyptians. The real Egyptians are located in like the Sudan somewhere. Those are the real Egyptians in the Sudan country in Africa. Right now, back to what I was saying. The slavery we've been on was under. We went under in Egypt. Everyone knew about it, and the judgment the Egyptians got from it, everyone knew about it. God is saying that what everyone knew about being Egypt, no longer would the Israelites be known for what their God did in Egypt. For verse 15 said, "But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north." We live in the north right now, right? North America, right? We live in the land of the north right now as we speak. And it said, not only the north, it says, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I would bring them again in their land and bring them again to their land that I gave unto their fathers. Don't forget, the land of Israel was given unto us. When I mean the land of Israel, it's not what you know it as today, like that little piece of land. That's not it. We damn near had the whole Middle East, part of Africa. That's us. All that's Israel. All that belongs to us. This old earth belongs to us. God said, "For he have made the earth for our sake, for the Israelites' sake." We're the ruling power. We're the kings and queens of the earth. Like I said earlier, we're the gods. We are the gods of the earth. Right? We're the gods. We are the gods, man. Let's get our Psalms 137. In fact, no. Give me Jeremiah. Slack here. Isaiah 14 and 21. All right. Isaiah, the 14th chapter. We're going to go back to the 14th chapter. We're going to close it out with this in verse 21. It says, 14 and 21 says, Slaki says, prepare slaughter. 14 and 21 says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers. Right? Most High saying for the children of the Edomites, we're to prepare slaughter. It says, once again, prepare slaughter for his children. So for all these so-called Edomites, today, white people, God is not saying prepare slaughter for anything they have done, even though they've done a wickedness. But they've been had it coming. Even before they were born, they had it coming. Slaughter was already prepared for them. Right? It says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers. Meaning they're going to punish what their forefathers have done. Don't act as if that's so foreign to you black people, man. Your mother and father and your brothers and cousins and your friends, they might turn their back on you because you learn the truth. And they will tell you that the God that you're talking about is the devil, and that's not true. Don't act as if ISUPK saying God will punish white people or the Edomites today for what their forefathers have done, as if that's so foreign. Once again, fear is the reason why you think this way. Because if you didn't fear, you know that. What about you? What about your life? Why were you born in the condition that you're in? Why were you born that molester as a father, that drug addict as a mother, right? That pimp or that a whoremonger of an uncle? Why were you born with that? Huh? Why were you born in the ghettos? Born on Section 8, broken home, not knowing what you're gonna eat, not knowing where you're gonna be in at age 20. I remember I was surprised to make it to 18 years old. I remember when I was 18, I was like, damn, I really made it to 18. And when I was 12, I was like, man, I hope I make it to 21. When I hit 21, I said, man, what the hell is going on? Right? Why were your life so terrible? Have you ever wondered that? Have you ever thought about that? Your life was so terrible because you're being punished for what your ancestors did. for what we done as a people. Right? So don't make it seem like it's so foreign to you that we're saying that white people will be punished for what their ancestors have done. Don't be a hypocrite now. Because now you're being wicked and a hypocrite. A wicked and a hypocrite you're being. Because if you love them so much, you tell yourself the truth. Right? God punishes children all the way down to the 7th generation, 8, 10 generation, all the way down, forever and ever. Yes. What you can do today can't affect your children. So the fact that black people today act as if what the ISUPK is saying is so foreign is beyond me. As if we don't live it every single day. We live it every single day. You think life is meant for you to get up and go to work every day? Work a 9-to-5, 8-hour shift every single day? 40-hour weeks? Some of us working 60, 70-hour weeks, 84-hour weeks? You think life is meant to be that way? That is not life. But yet still, not only are we in that condition, right? We're not able to even enjoy yourself in that condition. How? Because they made their life, even though you're working the 60 hours, you might have a little money in your pocket. And you might say, well, there's some white people working 50 hours too. That live in trailer park homes too. Well, boo-hoo. All right, boo-hoo. Why do I say that? Because you didn't care about that little boy that you birthed, that little child that came out of you. You didn't care enough. You hate him. You hate him for looking like his daddy. You hate that little girl for looking like her mother and acting like her mother. You hate her for it. So don't act as if you care now about children and all that. Yes, he's going into slavery. The devil is going into slavery. Yes, you'll be punished. His children will be punished for what they have done. And once again, like I said, the Bible said, even though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. You cannot save them. Well, with that, I said, once again, with ISUPK coming out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, I'm Officer Apayat out here in Arizona. I'm saying, once again, I will have that location on Truth Is coming this week on our cookout. We have not cookout, we'll be passing out food, right? ISUPK pass out food every Saturday. And we have camp also. We're going to give you the camp location. Right? I know some of you been calling and want to come to that. We welcome all of that. If you coming to be learned, then fine, come and learn. If you're coming for static, we recommend you come for that too. So we're fully prepared for that too. So I will have it in Truth Is this week, right? I will have the location for the food we're going to be passing out, location we're passing out food at, and we're going to be having camp at. And with that, I say shalom.